And let me tell you, networking is the best asset that you can have. Your network is the best asset that you can have. Leave alone money, cars, nini. Because I would go to a concert, do some portraits of people at an event. And the next question they're asking you, you know, that point when you're showing them, oh, these are your photos. They're like, they look really nice. They're like, the next question they're asking, by the way, do you do families? My name's Evans Ogeto. Primarily, I shoot a lot of content to do with portraits and nature and wildlife. But over and above doing that for commercial purposes, I also do sports and documentary work. I was born and partly raised in Kisii, which is now Kisii County. And then I came to Nairobi with the help of my dad. Went into primary, went into secondary school, and then I went into university afterwards. I'm a graduate of Strathmore University, and I did accounts and finance. Yeah, and I'm also a CPA holder. CPA is a Certified Public Accountant of Kenya, just to clarify, yeah. So that's in a nutshell how I was brought up. And then now I joined employment. I have been an auditor, statutory auditor. I have been an accountant, a financial accountant, if you understand what it means. This is more of crunching numbers here and there, dealing with debtors, creditors, reconciling books, dealing with banks, such kind of things. More like what accountants do. And then I've also been into procurement for 2 years. I've also worked in a lot, actually all those experiences that I've earned, other than auditing, I've worked in the events industry, marketing and also experiential marketing and events industry. So I'm also vastly experienced when it comes to events and marketing stuff. I was so passionate about being self-employed and actually running my own small business and being able to contribute to reduction of unemployment in the country, being able to contribute into the tax bracket. So those are some of the things that were driving me into joining the photography field, because I had seen the opportunity to be able to do the business. That's why I ended up doing photography and ran away from a very experienced position that I was in the accounting field. Try to look for an accountant end month. You'll not find them, or even towards end month, you'll not find them. They're busy crunching numbers because they have deadlines, and deadlines trying to account for money people have spent. Yeah, I would say the most outstanding thing that really made me decide that photography is the thing for me is a series of activities. I used to hire photographers where I used to work. And one of the most disappointing thing with these guys, sometimes they used to deliver, sometimes they never used to deliver. And being the head of procurement, it really used to be a very bad Monday, Tuesday meetings day for me, because I was always trying to defend these guys for not sometimes showing up, sometimes doing a very bad job. So I felt like there is a gap, especially in the events photography business. So that's one, because I felt like there are less photographers. I only used to deal with 2, and I thought they were the best. And true to my word, they were the best, because I used to deal with the best. Luckily, the same photographers, who I would be so proud to mention, were also willing to help me, come through the system. Another one like S. Maina guided me to joining PAK, and then got in my first camera. Yeah, that's how I joined. But the other thing that really made me decide I have to do photography is the fact that I had really made a very good network when I was working in the events industry, the who's and who's in the events industry. My boss, ex-boss, who is a late, Bikev, was generous enough to let me into the deep end, always, every time I was working with him. And so through that whole connection, I was able to amass some serious network. Some I used to tap from his friends, some I would make during my line of duty. But I would say I had a very good network of very influential people in the industry of events, and by extension, some very influential people in the country. So I remember during crunch time, when I was thinking about quitting or leaving my employment, I was like, I remember I would do an interview, a bank interview. I'm like, if I go and I'm gonna be in a bank, this is my network, how is it going to be helpful? Like, what will I be talking to these people about? Money in the bank, oh, come and invest, oh, please open an account. I don't think it was a conversation. I'm not a salesperson. It wasn't going to be a conversation that I would take up. And so I felt like now to support my, my excuse for joining photography is like, finally, if I'm a photographer, I have a service these guys need that I can offer to them. And so my conversation with them will never die. It will always be an ongoing conversation. Oh, Evans, now you're an accountant. Now you're a photographer. From accountant to photographer. Kama kazi iko, you're our guy. And so that's how I got deep into the events industry. I have a very good portfolio of events that I've shot in this country, especially. I haven't done events out of the country, but I have a very solid portfolio, and that is what propelled my brand to what it is right now. I used to work for a company called True Black Entertainment Limited. They call themselves True Black. That is the brand name. My most memorable, shots, moments, I have many pictures, but events, I can say events, is when I was asked to document the journey of Damian Marley when he came to Kenya. It was for me, it was a normal event, but as I was shooting, the impact of the work that I was doing as we kept sharing made me realize that it was a very big engagement. He's a big artist, and so it was not just Kenya, it was Africa and the world over. That was, I think, one of the best gigs I ever shot. Yeah, so my creative process is very simple, but mostly I would say 50% is understanding my client and trying to understand what they want to achieve. Before I give suggestions, I like understanding where my client has come from and where they want to be, so that I can offer a more solid solution. I am very personal oriented, like I get hands-on. So I am never quick to give quotes, I'm never quick to give mood boards until I understand what my client wants. So that's my first process. So we do a meetup, 1 or 2 meetups to understand where they are. I would want to see the work they've done before. Then now from there we would craft a mood board. Yeah, so once we craft a mood board, then again we'll sit with the client, we'll look through, does it align to what my client wants to achieve? Does it align to something that I can be able to achieve comfortably? Because if I can't also achieve comfortably without having to learn and relearn, then it means I'm not the perfect person to document it. Then we'll understand the mood board is perfect, we'll get the right team. I will help my client get the right team, because I also have a list of people that I like working with and companies. And then we will plan a shoot date, we will shoot. If it's a commercial, there's a process of shooting a commercial, licenses, getting the right crew to work with. And then, yeah, the whole day of shooting, it's a week of shooting. And then now I will share the pictures with my clients. I have platforms that I use for my clients to see what it is that we got. I will get their feedback, then we get into the edit process. And sometimes we don't even get to the edit process. The clients can also edit the photos by themselves, or rather they can even manipulate what they want. So it's quite straightforward, and then of course we'll get to the point where we are being paid, which is the best point. Yeah. Some challenges have come and really challenged us, and they've made us become better. And let me tell you, networking is the best asset that you can have. Your network is the best asset that you can have, leave alone money, cars, nini. Because I would go to a concert, do some portraits of people at an event, and the next question they're asking you, you know, that point when you're showing them, oh, these are your photos, they're like, they look really nice. They're like, the next question they're asking, by the way, do you do families? Yeah. I used to like ladies. Ladies are the best clients. I'll tell you why. Those ones, they market you for free. I would get ladies, you know, when you take very nice photos of them, and the next thing they're asking, by the way, every lady wants to have portraits of themselves. They would ask, hey, Evans, can I come on Saturday to your studio during the day? Hey, karibu. Saa hizo sina studio. So those are some of the challenges now that were thrown to us. And when I'm looking at myself, I'm like, how most events are happening at night. So what will I be doing during the day? Why not open a studio? And during the day I can work. I can be able to offer a solution. So these guys I would meet at night. I would shoot them, they are having fun. But then they would book with their families. They would come here on a loose Friday, on a loose Monday. We'd do very nice portraits of them and their family. Let me tell you, it's so fulfilling, because with families, you offer end-to-end solution. Imagine kids walking in, take photos of them, and then you go edit. You know, of course, sometimes the selection process is also nice. I share with them through a platform. They go sit with the parents. They are looking through the TV. They are liking each other. They are selecting that, yeah, I like that one. And then they send you, please edit. And then when you finish editing, we offer a package where we also print for them. It's so fulfilling when you walk into a family's home and you see photos of them smiling nicely, and it's you who captured them. It's so fulfilling. So such are the challenges that were thrown to us, and we decided to take them and make merry out of those challenges. What is life? The career shift was also a challenge. Initially, when I was starting out, it wasn't easy, by the way, especially financials, and also trying to find a footing. There's always that doubtful moment. Am I really making the right decision? And to be honest, I had a girlfriend who told me, man, mimi sikupeleki kwetu na hii ujinga yako ya ati wewe ni photographer. So that's the career shift I'm talking about. It's not easy. There are people, your friends, your peers, they're used to seeing you as a photographer, as an accountant. They're used to seeing you as an accountant. You know, some people have grown up to understand career na maisha inafaa kuendanisha hivi. So when you shift, they look at you and they're like, this guy has no future. The same dilemmas you're facing are the same dilemmas that they're facing, but they decide to act on you because you don't have so much money to spend. So now you even find yourself changing friends. Yeah, and now that is where now PAK comes in, you know, the Photographer Association, because now these are photographers, a collection of photographers. Yeah, and so that's just a challenge that you have to take up. And when you find photographers together, tena mnaanza kujenga tena. Yeah, but I would say I lost a lot of friends, especially in the industry. There's some of my network that really went off, because now there are people who used to look at you and they see opportunities. But now that you've stepped out, you're not an opportunity but more of a liability. Yeah, kila sani ni aje si mnirushie kazi. You know, the thing about entrepreneurship is you're a beggar. Yeah, at the end of the day unaomba tu majob, kazi yako ni kuomba do. You're just hyping yourself, but in a different language. But if you look at it, you're also a beggar. if you lower it to the level where wase wanasema ni ya kawaida kwa ground, you are a beggar, because you are trying to beg people to give you work, and it's not easy convincing people to give you work. But when you do a good job, of course, they're the ones looking for you to give you work. So that's another challenge. The other challenge is it can also be expensive, especially during the most unpredictable times. I would give you an example of during COVID. It was a challenge, trying to run a studio, trying to also run a home. I think everyone was struggling, but such times should never come again. Such are the times that kill entrepreneurial spirits. I can guarantee you that there's a lot of people who quit entrepreneurship to go back to employment, because you're trying to manage bills, especially people with families. It's not easy. So yeah. And then the other thing is now equipment. Photography is not cheap, it's very expensive. And that is where Cameras Africa come in, or rather Cameras Kenya. Because I created a partnership. Cameras Kenya is the first place I walked into in 2014, when I had the idea that I want to be a photographer. So this was on 11th April 2014. I walked in, there's a friend of mine called Filippo, he's MC Filippo. I walked in with him to Cameras Africa, and then we were like, hey, I want a camera. Those days it was the 5D Mark III. Why was I investing in a 5D Mark III? One, I think I realized that I'm not good in photography, but I wanted a best camera so that it can compensate my skills. Unaingiza camera auto hapo ifanye kenye inafanya. So I needed a camera that can do a good job as I learn. So I decided to invest in the 5D Mark III. Back then it was really good compared to other cameras. So, and on 12th, the next day, Conscience was performing in Nairobi. Conscience was performing in Nairobi, and I managed to be the one who is in charge of the event. So for me, you know, photographers are out here looking for opportunities where they can shoot such events. But for me, I am the organizer, so I will be there. So for me, it's very easy. I will just take nice photos from vantage points. I can even tell Conscience pose. I can even tell the artist to pose whichever way I wanted. And so let me tell you, my journey started like that, on a free roll, lucky as I am. And so I shot the event. Of course, I bought the camera from Cameras Africa. It was damn expensive back then. I had to take all my savings. Yeah, and then of course, camera, lens, and the flash. The flash was expensive. I've never sold it, and I will never sell it. It is worth a camera right now. And so the next day, I shot the concert. When I finished shooting the concert, on Monday, when I got to the office, my ex-boss, Big Kev, who was the owner of the company I was working for, was like, "We Evanso, zile mamboto ni zako. Those photos I've seen online. Na mbona uja create page? Una tag tu watu hapo kwa mapicha. Create a page and grow the page from this event." Nikaanza kuona, by the way, my boss is talking sense. Then I created a page. It was called United by Images. That was my first Kaneonka business name. Why United by Images? You know, kitambo, you would go shoot an event, you post the photos on Facebook, and then you tag the few people you know. And then when people come to the folder, they'll tag each other. So I used to unite people at events through my images. I have never faced very serious criticism, but I've had criticism from my friends. I'm a very open-minded person, so my friends criticize me openly, by the way. Like, they used to tell me, your photos, there's this lady I used to shoot, and she would tell me, by the way, you need to improve this and this and this. And because of the mind that I have and the way I've been brought up, and I think the exposure that I've had, I am very open to being better through criticism. But I also look at the people who criticize me. I cannot take criticism from everyone. I am very subjective. You cannot criticize me if you have no skill, let's say. Like, what gives you the front to criticize me? Are you in my genre? Are you also a photographer? Are you, like, what give you? There's that. I look at that. So if it's worth it, then I'll give a listen. But I don't. I wouldn't say that I don't listen. I listen. So by listening, then I see it is positive criticism. If it's negative, I'll not take it. Yeah. So I would say I am very blindfolded when it comes to criticism, but I choose the criticism that I want to take. Having to say that it is very important, by the way, to get criticism. It's good when people criticize you because they want you to get better. Some people, your friends will criticize you so that you can also grow with them. If you don't take criticism, my friends are now very serious bosses in various companies. The people I went to campus with who are now accountants, I still hang out with them. But they are my number one criticizers. Let me tell you. Jamaa, lakini pia wao nikiwapata, lazima niwapashe in a good way. You have to be very objective about it when you're criticizing someone. Yeah. Let it be that you're building someone and you're not trying to take them down. Cameras Africa has been instrumental in my journey. I wouldn't say if there's an organization that has really supported me through Parag and Kapil. Kapil was the first person I walked into when I went to Cameras Africa. Very nice guy. Let me tell you, every time I want to go to Cameras Africa, I'm like, Kapil is there? Sawa. It's a very nice solution-oriented person. And let me tell you, they've been very helpful throughout my journey because I would get good gear from them. They've never sold gear that I would feel, those gear that zimepitishwa kwa mikono kadhaa ndio zikufikie. Hapana, genuine gear, good, I would say good pricing, fair pricing, because I am a quality-oriented person. So let me pick something that I can be able to afford, or rather, if I can't afford, let me wait and afford it. But I have never regretted, not even as a day, for buying equipment. The most interesting equipment that I've bought from Cameras Africa is a Canon EF 50mm 1.2 that I've used over and over and over. And I bought it and I was like, why have I never, I should have started with this lens when I was starting out photography, because that lens has a way of telling stories that is so unique. And it's very flexible. It trains you as a person as opposed to, those zoom lenses. So it's more of me walking. It's so tack sharp. So it's a lens that I really value. The other thing that I really value that I bought is the flash 600 EXRT that I bought in 2014 at a very expensive price, but it was worth it because it set me aside. Like when you compare what other people are delivering, especially I think that flash really propelled my brand because it's a flash that is original, expensive, but is able to deliver as compared to those other brands. And it has never failed until today. It is still working. It is delivering serious HSS photos. It is the flash that I use when I want to shoot HSS. I've never even invested in those serious strobes for HSS because I have 2 of those flashes. Yeah, and most recently I got the mirrorless, which I think the more we go on, the more I build my brand, the more I'm appreciating the revolution that is coming with the new gear. So I keep investing and I will continue investing. But right now I'm more thrilled with the new gear that I have. Yeah, the 70-200 RF lens is one of the best. Yeah, I think if I get money, I would really want to get the 400mm 2.8. I hope one day I will sell the kidney and buy that, and of course with the R3. That's the dream equipment, camera-wise, yeah. One important tip, but I'm sure I will say others, that I will give to people so that the people who are trying to join the industry is this. For someone who really wants to venture into photography, content creation, and I think generally everyone who is thinking of creating something for themselves other than what they're doing, because I believe there's so many people who are in the corporate space who want to have something. Photography is interesting, yeah? You don't need passion, let no one lie to you. But what you need is a little bit of patience. You will not survive if you're not a patient person. You will not grow in one day, in 1 year, in 5 years. You will grow over time. And you will grow by practicing, by being exposed. So you really have to be very patient and happy and contented with the small that you're going to make, the small cash that you're going to make. The other thing that I always draw inspiration is there's an artist called Chronix. I'm a reggae person. Chronix sang a song called Likes. And he said in one of the lines, why is it that, okay, he's telling other artists, yeah? Chronix is a big reggae artist, so he's telling other reggae artists, why do you guys think you're great right now, but Bob Marley, who died I think 40 years ago, still leads on iTunes? Yeah? There's a reason why Bob Marley is still leading, because he's a legend. So as you step out to come and do your work, be a Bob Marley. Create work that is going to be outstanding. But most importantly, please stay humble. Industry yetu unaweza chocha watu sana. Watu chochana pia sana na gear na skill. Hizi ni vitu zenye watu hujisomesha. You can learn and be an open book. Yeah, na usikue mtu wa kusumbua watu. Just be humble, relax, learn your craft, be ethical, and be someone who is customer oriented. Listen to your customers, value them, and deliver on time. Cameras Africa, always and always equipping storytellers.